Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. For today's video, we have accept or decline NBA trade deadline edition. So on the screen in front of you guys, we have an article going through one trade every single NBA team should make. We're gonna go through each and every single one of these trades here. I have no idea what they look like, and I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on if I think that team should accept or decline that trade. So yes, before we get going on this video, I don't mind dropping a like on this video. It would be greatly appreciated. And as always, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out my second channel, Extra Crispy, over there for daily NBA content. But yeah, man, let's get into this. These trades, they might be all over the board. I have no idea. So let's get it. The first one we have is the Atlanta Hawks. They would get Steven Adams in exchange for Cam Reddish and Evan Turner. And also Deontay Burton. Sorry, man. Don't mean to hate on you there. I think this is actually a W trade for the Hawks. Now, I could completely understand if they want more of like a stretch big like a Miles Turner. But at the same time, you know, Steven Adams is only 26. Just a great grit and grind center. I feel like him and John Collins is a nice front court. And also, they just get like a guy that can help them right now. Cam Reddish is definitely a few seasons away, which fits into the future of the OKC Thunder, plus the small forward position. I think Terrence Ferguson starts at small forward for the OKC Thunder. It's not great, man. I mean, you know, he might be a fine role player, but like Cam Reddish being a lottery pick, I mean, given the right circumstances, like he really could flourish over there for that Thunder team, you know, playing with Shea. It'd be a great, ideal situation really for both teams. So I accept this trade. Next up, we got Nerlens Noel in exchange for Robert Williams. Yeah, the Boston Celtics definitely do need more of a rim protector, a guy that can grab some rebounds. And while I do think eventually Robert Williams will be a better player than what Nerlens Noel has ever really been, I feel like Noel, with this Boston Celtics team, is an instant plug-and-play and somebody that can help him out right now. Robert Williams, also a few seasons away, at least like a season, I would say. I would say next year he could probably start contributing, but he has to work on, you know, staying in games and not following things along those lines. But pretty much same as last one, where it's like Robert Williams just kind of fits the time frame of the OKC Thunder a bit more, and Nerlens Noel is somebody at a low cost could help them out right now. So once again, accept for both sides. Next up, we got Dario Saric for Garrett Temple, a second-round pick, and another second-round pick. So yeah, the biggest weakness for the Brooklyn Nets this season has been the power forward position. I'm not really sure if Saric is worth 2 second-round picks. Plus, Garrett Temple has been, like, decent for the Brooklyn Nets this year. But Saric averaging, like, 9 points, like, 4 or 5 rebounds, like, 2 assists. I actually thought he was going to be a lot more of a better passing guy. Now, down the road, I do think Dario Saric does have a pretty decent place inside the Brooklyn Nets offense. I just don't know if I would give up this much to get him. I don't know if it's really quite worth it. I feel like his services you could probably find after the season in free agency, and it's not going to cost you 2 second-round picks. So I'm going to decline this trade. Next up, we got the Hornets get Andre Drummond, and the Pistons get Nicholas Batum, Willie Hernangomez, and a 2020 second-round pick. So normally, as a Piston fan, I would say, like, yo, I'm all for an Andre Drummond trade at this point. I don't think he's going to come back in free agency. If he does, he's going to go to super max, which is going to be bad for the Pistons. But at the same time, Nicholas Batum, I think, has 1 or 2 more seasons left on his ridiculously large contract. Also as a player option, I think he finished up this season. Man, he might have like 2 or 3 more years left on a deal, man. So, you know, the Pistons not really getting cap space. Willie Hernangomez, you know, a few seasons ago would have been all for this because he was great for the New York Knicks for like a season, and then they just gave up on him, and he's kind of fallen into the abyss. And we also get a second-round pick, which is nice from the Boston Celtics. Not going to be great, but I don't know if it's worth taking on Batum's contract. You know, it's like I'd much rather just not get those players, let Drummond walk, and have the cap space and let the Pistons over the next few seasons decide what they want to do with that cap space. I'm going to decline that trade. Next, we have the Bulls get Tyler Johnson and a first-round pick in exchange for Chris Dunn and Thaddeus Young. So, yes, I believe Chris Dunn's on a 1-year contract. Thaddeus Young has a few years on it. Definitely has not really worked out all that great for the Bulls. Now, that being said, with Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter, guys like that, having early on injury issues, a guy like Thaddeus Young becomes more valuable. But fact of the matter is that I do think the Bulls could make the playoffs. It's just, you know, it's like, is it really worth it? It's like, would you much rather them go out there and just kind of sell some of the assets of this team? Of course, the Phoenix Suns would be giving up Tyler Johnson, mainly just for salary cap, and also the first-round draft pick. So, I mean, for the Bulls, it's a W getting that first-round pick. The Phoenix Suns don't really need younger players. They actually need more veterans. And Thaddeus, probably instant power forward starter on the Suns, I would say. So, yeah, not a bad look. I think for both sides, I probably would accept this trade. Let me make sure everything's popping up. Yeah, everything looks good. Okay, we're great. Okay, next up, we got the Cavaliers get Dieng, Jarrett Culver, Jordan Bell. The Timberwolves get Kevin Love. this is probably a W for both sides. Now, I'm not really too sold on the Timberwolves giving up on Jarrett Culver just yet. But with that being said, I mean, Kevin Love is a nice player. And the only reason I do this trade, though, is, well, I do think K-Love would be a nice fit alongside Karl-Anthony Towns. But plain and simple, it's just a nice story. It's a nice story having Cat go back to the team. I'm sorry, having Kevin Love go back to the team that, everything started with. And then the Cavaliers, that's a nice haul. I mean, Jarrett Culver listed as a small forward. I think he's more of a shooting guard. So at that point, it's like you do have to decide on, between Darius, Colin, and Jarrett, like what are the two guys you're going to build around. My guess is Colin Sexton is probably the odd man out there unless you decide to go with Jarrett the small forward spot, which is definitely possible. But yeah, it's like the Timberwolves, they're getting a borderline all-star for these guys. So it's just that in a few seasons, that contract's not going to be great. So, I mean, it's definitely a, hey, we're trying to keep Karl-Anthony Towns happy right now type of move, which might be worth it. It might be the difference between Cat leaving and Cat staying. Who really knows? But I think I would probably accept this trade. Next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks get DeMar DeRozan, the Spurs get Courtney Lee, and DeLon Wright. Definitely going to decline this trade. The Mavericks run a lot of their offense through Luka Doncic, pretty much 95% of it, and it's all about having the shooters, the other guys around him. DeMar DeRozan, plain and simple, needs the ball in his hands to score the basket. And it's like, if the ball's in DeMar's hands, then the ball's not in Luka's hand, and that's just no bueno for anybody. So yes, 100% if I'm the Mavericks, I do not do this trade. And the Spurs getting Courtney Lee, I mean, DeLon Wright's a fine player, but they don't really need like another defensive athletic point guard. They already got DeJounte Murray. I think it's probably a decline for both sides. Next, we got the Nuggets get DeMar DeRozan, and the Spurs get Gary Harris and Mason Plumlee. I would probably say in this case, DeMar DeRozan probably fits in the Nuggets offense a bit more just because, you can run the offense through Jokic and get DeMar DeRozan on the cuts. That has a nice kind of sound to it. Having DeMar at that shooting guard spot, it's like, I don't believe Gary Harris has been all that great offensively this season. So, I mean, from a spacing standpoint, you're not really losing that much. Now, I would much rather actually use DeMar at the small forward spot and then have like Malik Beasley at the 2. I feel like that would work out a bit nicely. Because then all of a sudden it's like you're talking about DeMar being an upgrade, not over Gary Harris, but over like Torrey Craig. So it's all good with that. Now the Spurs, I mean, they get some decent pieces out of it, I suppose. They get some guys. That's pretty much what I'm saying. But from the Nuggets standpoint, the additional scoring, there's a consistent scorer like that. I think he fits in the offense. I'm going to accept that trade for the Denver Nuggets. Next up, we got the Pistons get Hassan Whiteside and Nazir Little, and the Trailblazers get Andre Drummond. So this is definitely a move where the Pistons simply, Hassan Whiteside would be gone after the season. They could re-sign if they wanted to, hopefully to a friendly contract, and I would actually be all for that, assuming the contract's right. But then the Trailblazers get a nice bit of an upgrade with Andre Drummond. Now, you might argue saying that Hassan Whiteside is just kind of a poor man's Drummond because both guys do put up empty stats kind of to an extent. But, I mean, we've never really seen Dre play with players. We have never seen Dre play with players like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. So we don't know how exactly that would elevate his game even farther. And the Pistons, they get Nazir Little. I mean, that's a nice asset to get. A guy that I think definitely fell in last year's draft. And yeah, it's just, it's getting something where, in a lot of cases, Andre Drummond might just walk away from the team. All for it for both sides, going to accept. Next, we got, Kyle Kuzma for Alec Burks, Jordan Poole, and a 2022 first-round pick. This is just kind of like a weird trade. I guess it's nice the Lakers get, like, some guards, like some good young guards out of it. Alec Burks helps them right now. Jordan Poole could be something in the future. But I feel like the Lakers could probably get a bit more for Kuzma. And then for the Warriors, I don't really know how Kuzma fits into the lineup. I'm sure, like, this season he's doing stuff. I'm talking about next year, though, because you still have Draymond at the 4. You got Clay at the 3. You got D'Lo at the 2. Is Kuzma going to be coming off the bench? I don't really know if that's good for the long-term things. Now, it would be a nice look if he would actually, accept that role. But it's kind of an ugly trade. I'm declining it. Next, we got the Rockets get Marcus Morris and Reggie Bullock. The Knicks get Eric Gordon and Ben McLemore. I would have said accept to this one like a week ago, but now Eric Gordon just dropped like 50 points, so people are definitely going to be all over him again. Now, from a lineup standpoint, I mean, Reggie Bullock, Ben McLemore, both those guys are kind of, exchangeable. Both good offensive guards. That's about what you're going to get from them. So now you're looking at the comparison of Marcus Morris to Eric Gordon. In the long term of things, Marcus Morris does help to kind of stabilize their starting 5. If you can go out there on the market and get like another offensive-oriented shooting guard, then sure, it's all for. I guess you get Reggie Bullock back in this. But I mean, I don't really see it like tipping the needle all that much either way. I feel like, Marcus Morris definitely fits the offense. I guess for the sake of change, because as constructed right now, I don't see the Rockets winning the championship. So I guess just for the sake of change, I'm going to accept this trade for both sides. Next, we got the Pacers get Bogdanovic. The Kings get Justin Holiday, TJ Leaf, and a second-round pick. Yeah, probably a W for both sides. I don't really know if the Pacers need Bogdan all that much. They have Victor Oladipo coming back tonight at the making this video. I like Jeremy Lamb. You're giving up a decent shooting guard with Justin Holiday and a bit of a, I guess TJ Leaf just kind of who he is at this point. Now for the Kings, getting some players like that, it's kind of nice for a guy that might just walk away and getting a second-round draft pick. So I guess it doesn't really hurt either team. If it's a trade that both teams are interested in, I would probably say accept. Not really seeing any negatives to it all that much. Next up, we got the Clippers get Davis Bertans. The Wizards get Rodney McGruger. We get Cab and a 2020 first-round pick. That's kind of a steep price for Davis Bertans. I understand that he's been one of the best stretch bigs this season, and I would actually run him at the power forward spot. Him alongside Montrez or Zubac would be great. It's just that, giving up on this Cab dude, I only say Cab because I'm not going to dare say the name, plus a first-round pick, I would be more down for this trade because I think Davis is on an expiring deal, right? Could be wrong about that, but take off the 2020 first-round pick or take off Cab, and you got yourself a deal. I feel like that's too much to give up, though, for one guy. Next up, we got the Lakers get Bogdan and Bjelica. The Kings get Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, and Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma, once again, I don't really know how he fits in with this team. Now, that being said, though, the Kings, not that great this season. So just for the sake of change, I feel like Quinn Cook actually has something he can bring to this team. And Kuzma, it's like, why not try him out? I guess you're eventually looking at a lineup of Marvin at the center spot, Kuzma at the 4, Harrison Barnes at the 3. Athletically, that sounds kind of intriguing. Floor spacing wise sounds kind of intriguing. I guess it's worth trying, I suppose. And the Lakers get 2 really good offensive players, so they would definitely do that in a heartbeat, I would say. Next up, we got the Grizzlies get Hassan Whiteside, a 2020 first-round pick. The Trailblazers get Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder. I've actually liked Hassan Whiteside on the Trailblazers this season for the most part. Like, to the extent where, while getting both these veterans helps them, it just kind of leaves them without a big guy. Because Nurkic, we have no idea what he's going to be like. And Pascal Labissiere been having injury issues. Zach Collins. It's not a bad trade. I just don't know if I do it if I'm the Trailblazers. I don't think it makes them better right now. If everybody was healthy, Nurkic was healthy, I'd be all for it, though. Next up, we got the Heat get Danilo, Gallinari, and Nerlens Noel. The Thunder get Kelly Olynyk and Justice Winslow. I think it's a W for both sides. Gallinari doesn't really need to be on the Thunder. They get a great young piece in Justice Winslow. Kelly Olynyk is just like a stretch big that could, do some things out there. And then Gallinari gives the Heat an instant 18-point per game score, slides instantly into the starting 4 spot, plays alongside Bam. Defensively, not great, but you get Nerlens Noel there too for a backup center, so that kind of helps things out a bit. I'm going to say accept this trade for both sides. Next up, we got the Bucks get D'Lo. The Warriors get Eric Bledsoe, Ersan Ilyasova, Dante DiVincenzo, 2 first-round picks. I mean, it is a nice trade for both sides. I don't really know why the Warriors would want Eric Bledsoe, I suppose, but I more so like the 2 first-round picks and Dante. But Eric Bledsoe on the Warriors makes absolutely 0 sense. And the Bucks have the best record in the Eastern Conference. They might have the best record in the NBA. I don't know if that's changed yet, but haven't checked the standings today. It's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it trades. And I feel like the Warriors, if they were to trade D'Lo, it wouldn't be for Eric Bledsoe. It would be for more of a better fit going forward. So I'm going to say decline this trade. Next, we got the Warriors get Dieng, Robert Covington, Jarrett Culver, and plus a first and 2 second-round picks in exchange for D'Lo and Kevon Looney. Now, I feel like this is the type of trade that kind of benefits the Warriors a bit more. Getting Robert Covington's great. We got Jarrett Culver, who, with Steve Kerr and all those guys out there could really flourish as a player. Getting the picks is great. And the Timberwolves get their guy in D'Lo. I do feel like D'Lo's trade value right now is a little lower than what it was, to start the season. So that's a nice little haul. Robert Covington instantly, gives them a great starting small forward defensive guy. And it kind of stabilizes the lineup for them. I mean, Covington with Draymond Green defensively, plus with the 2 best shooters, 2 of the best of all time, and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Yeah, it's kind of a GG next season. Next, we got a 2021 second-round pick for Jahlil Okafor. I mean, it's good for the Pelicans. They got Derek Favors. They got Jackson Hayes getting another pick. Nothing wrong with that. Jahlil Okafor on the Celtics, though, makes little sense. He's an inside scorer with that lax defense. They already have one of those guys. His name's Enes Kanter. If I'm trading that second-round pick, I'm getting a guy that is defensive and rebounding oriented. Declined for the Celtics. I think we skipped one. There we go. We got the Knicks get Norman Powell and a first-round pick. The Raptors get Marcus Morris. Probably going to decline that. I don't think Marcus Morris really fits in with their starting lineup. They already got OG at the 3 spot. You got Pascal at the 4. What they need is a shooting guard, and that's Norman Powell, who's been playing great basketball the past few weeks. Plus giving up a first-round pick. That's an L for definitely an L for the Raptors. It's W for the Knicks. So I'm declining if I'm the Raptors, accepting if I'm the Knicks. Okay, next we got. I'm keep on skipping one, man. Okay, next up we got. The Thunder get Dieng in a 2020 first-round pick. The Timberwolves get Dennis Schroeder. Now, this kind of goes down to if the Thunder kind of want to go with the whole, hey, just straight-up rebuild mode and start trading away assets, because getting a first-round pick is always nice, especially getting relief from Dennis Schroeder's salary. And the Timberwolves get themselves, in my opinion, one of the more underrated point guards in the NBA. The Timberwolves' starting point guard spot is not great right now, so at least Schroeder gives them a little stability. Does he save the franchise? Not really. But I think he'd be better than Jeff Teague, so yeah, good replacement for him now that he's on the Hawks. I guess I didn't really say. I guess I would accept if on both sides. Okay, next we get the Magic, get DeMar DeRozan. Spurs get Aaron Gordon and Khem Birch. Beginning of the season, actually up until, Jonathan Isaac got injured, I would have accepted this trade because instantly you got DeMar at the 3, and then you got Isaac at the 4. I feel like that's a nice fit. I guess even now it's like with Isaac being out, you might as well try it out, I guess. It's kind of like an indifferent trade. Like, I could see it working out really, really well for the Magic, or I could just see it having no significance whatsoever. What do they got to lose, man? Except the trade. Spurs get a nice athletic player in Aaron Gordon that I think Greg Popovich could get a lot out of. Next, we get to the 76ers get Reggie Bullock. The Knicks get J.R. Smith. I feel like the 76ers could probably get a bit more for Smith if they really shopped him out there. Now, just from looking at the players, how they fit, Reggie Bullock, spot-up shooter, catch-and-shoot player, can be great for the 76ers, at least in that regards. And Smith is a guy that would just get a chance on the Knicks. So, it does give them more shooting. It's just a matter if you think you get more value for Smith in this case. But I would probably accept that. Next, we got Danilo Gallinari on the Suns. The Thunder get Tyler Johnson and Dario Saric. So, yeah, not really a big deal trade here for the Thunder. They get an expiring deal and they get Dario, who's fine. You feel like they might be able to get some more assets for Danilo, though, because really the only big name here is Dario, because Tyler would probably be gone after the season. And Gallinari on the Suns, I think he'd be play nicely alongside Ayton, take some pressure off Devin Booker. So if I'm the Suns, I definitely do this trade. Next, we got Joel Embiid for CJ McCollum. Oh, my God. Okay. I mean, this is no disrespect to CJ whatsoever, but if you're the Trailblazers, hell yeah, you do this trade. It's easier to find scoring at the 2 spot than it is for the type of center that Joel is at the center spot these days. And plus, you would have Hassan Whiteside, you could shop him out in a deal. If I'm the 76ers, though, I don't think I'm giving up Joel Embiid for CJ McCollum. I really don't. Like, CJ's a nice fit alongside Ben Simmons. That would be cool. But it just seems like it's not enough. Now, if you want to say, like, CJ, Hassan Whiteside, in a first-round pick, that's kind of more my lingo. If I'm the Trailblazers, I accept this trade, no doubt. If I'm the 76ers, I probably decline this. And that's not disrespect to CJ McCollum. It's just that Joel Embiid, is in a different tier, I would say, at his position. Next, we got the Kings get Marvin Williams, Malik Monk, and the Hornets get Bogdan and Dwayne Dedmon. Kind of an indifferent trade here. I guess Malik Monk gets a change of culture, see what he can do on the low-pressured Kings. And the Hornets get a more of a proven guy right now. And Dwayne Dedmon would just kind of rot on their bench. I'm probably declining it if I'm the Kings. If I'm trading Bogdan, I'm getting more than Malik Monk. Next, we got the Spurs get Anfernee Simons and Hassan Whiteside. The Trailblazers get LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't really know why the Spurs do this trade, unless it's to get out of LaMarcus Aldridge's last year of his contract. Because on Anfernee, they don't really need a guy like that on the Spurs. They're pretty much set. Derek White, DeJounte, guard spots are good to go. Hassan Whiteside would probably be gone for the season, or just like a guy that would sign a small contract. But yeah, LaMarcus on the Trailblazers would be kind of cool to see. I think he instantly gives them some more depth. Assuming Nurkic comes back healthy, you're looking at Damian, CJ, Melo, LaMarcus, and Nurkic. That's an interesting team. I accept if I'm the Trailblazers, decline if I'm the Spurs. All right, we got Kevin Love to the Raptors for Serge Ibaka, Stanley Johnson, and OG. Probably decline this trade because I like OG's game a lot. And if you're going with Kevin Love at the 4th spot, that means you're probably running Pascal at the 3, which is just kind of weird. I don't think that works in today's game. So from the Raptors standpoint, it just messes with chemistry on a team that's top 2, top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Giving up a good young piece in OG. Serge Ibaka's fine. Stanley Johnson's a bitch ass, so you might accept just for that reason, get him off there. But no, Raptors decline actually, guys. Now, the Cavaliers, I'm all over this trade. You're getting some nice pieces on that team in exchange for Kevin Love, and you get out of his contract. Then we got Jazz get Romeo Langford, Celtics get Ed Davis, and a 2021 second-round pick. Kind of a W trade for both sides. The Celtics don't really need Romeo Langford. You know, they got Jaylen Brown, they got Marcus Smart. The guard spots are good. It just seems like Romeo's probably going to be like at the bottom of the depth chart for a few seasons. So, not saying the Jazz would use him right away either, because they're a top team, so they kind of have their rotation down. But at least it's a good prospect, I guess, to have on the squad. Now, maybe a guy they can eventually replace like Joe Ingles down the road. But the Celtics, you know, getting Ed Davis, I mean, there's your defensive rebounder. He's kind of fallen out of the Jazz rotation. So, plus you get the second-round pick out of it. So, I mean, that makes up for Romeo being a first-round pick. So, I probably accept this on both sides. And then finally, we have the Wizards get Chris Paul. The Thunder get John Wall. Don't even think I'm going to try to make rhyme or reason of that one. I think that one I'm just going to decline both sides. That's all I got, guys. That was a weird trade to end off. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you don't mind dropping that like, subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, peace out, my friends.